Hi there. Today is Thursday, January 17, 2019, day 17 of hashtag 100-day project. It's sunny outside and 56 degrees. Yesterday, I gave you some homework of pre-instruction drawings. You didn't know that was homework, did you? But we're not in a classroom, so where else would you do it? And I also did this work. This is the drawing that I made of looking at myself in the mirror and drawing it. Of course, it's not too primitive because I've been through this course. This one is a little bit more primitive. This is the one of draw a person without looking at one. She looks like a character, doesn't she? Draw your hand. It actually went a little bit like. And then the last one was draw a chair by looking at an actual chair. This chair is right here in this room, right over there. So I'm going through this with you. In this book, Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain by Betty Edwards, in chapter 2, that chapter is entitled The Nonverbal Language of Art. And the first thing it says in this chapter is that the purpose of this book is to teach you basic skills in seeing and drawing. It's not to teach you to express yourself, but instead to provide you with the skills which will release you from stereotypic expression. This release will then open the way for you to express your individuality, your essential uniqueness in your own way, using your particular drawing style. And then in a discussion of one's own particular style, she gives examples of autographs, penmanship styles, and what one might gather from the way a person signs their name, with a few examples of art line drawing to go along with it. That makes for some interesting reading. The next chapter, 3, Your Brain, the Right and Left of It. And this chapter gives a very interesting, easy to understand discussion of the scientificness of right brain and left brain, the qualities of the sides of the brain and how that all works. For example, the right side of the brain controls the left side of the body and vice versa. She talks about studies about right brain, left brain. The left brain is generally considered to be analytical and exacting and literal and I started to say unimaginative, but we'll use imaginative to describe the right side of the brain, which is expansive and universal and imaginative. The left brain has most of the language and is kind of like your bossy friend from grade school who says, you can't do that. Sometimes when we're trying to do something imaginative, like draw a picture, that left brain jumps in and says, oh my God, that's awful. Why did you ever think you could draw? That's the left brain talking, by the way, whenever you experience that when you're trying to create. It was kind of a relief to learn, actually. Sometimes it seems like the two parts of the brain don't really communicate that well. The right brain has all the imagination, but the left brain has the language and the angularity. Students ask many questions about left-handed and right-handedness. This is a good place to address the subject before we begin instruction in the basic skill of drawing. The extensive research in handedness still seems to be somewhat unresolved and contradictory. There was a tendency for a few generations of trying to convert. If anyone showed a tendency to try to be left-handed, they would be converted to right-handedness. Sometimes people who were trying to be left-handed and were converted to right-handedness have some interesting difficulties. There are many. like that. Classifying people as strictly left-handed or right-handed is not entirely accurate. People range from being completely left-handed or completely right-handed to being completely ambidextrous, that is, able to do many things with either hand without a decided preference. Most of us fall somewhere on a continuum, with about 90% of humans preferring more or less strongly the right hand and 10% preferring the left. The percentage of individuals with left-handed preference for handwriting seems to be rising, from about 2% in 1932 to about 11% in the 1980s. The main reason for this rise is probably that teachers and parents have learned to tolerate left-handed writing and no longer force children to use the right hand. This relatively new tolerance is fortunate because forcible change can cause a child to have problems, such as stuttering, right-left directional confusion, and difficulty in learning to read. Interesting. So the left mode is the right-handed left hemisphere mode. The left is foursquare, upright, sensible, direct, true, hard-edged, unfanciful, and forceful. The left brain has all the language. It's verbal, it's analytic, symbolic, abstract, temporal, rational, digital, logical, and linear. Right mode is the left-handed right hemisphere mode. The right is curvy, flexible, more playful in its unexpected twists and turns, more complex, diagonal, and fanciful. Right brain is nonverbal, synthetic, which is to say putting things together to form wholes, concrete, relating to things as they are in the present moment, non-temporal, non-rational, spatial, intuitive, and holistic. Since the left brain kind of runs things because it has the language and it's so vocal, we have to set up the conditions for the left to right shift. The exercises in the next chapter are specifically designed to help enable a shift from left to right brain, left mode to right mode. The basic assumption of the exercises is that the nature of the task can influence which hemisphere will be in control and take on the job while inhibiting the other hemisphere. Since drawing a perceived form is largely a right brain function, we must keep the left brain out of it. Our problem is that the left brain is dominant and speedy and very prone to rush in with words and symbols, even taking over jobs, which it is not good at. That bossy friend. The split brain studies indicated that the left brain likes to be the boss, so to speak, and prefers not to relinquish tasks to its dumb partner unless it really dislikes the job, either because the job takes too much time, is too detailed or slow, or because the left brain is simply unable to accomplish the task. That is exactly what we need, tasks that the dominant left brain will turn down. The exercises that follow are designed to present the brain with a task that the left hemisphere either can't or won't do. But don't tell it that it can't do. Moving on to Chapter 4, which is entitled Experiencing the Shift from Left to Right. One of the exercises that was in the first book, and it may be in this one, maybe I just haven't seen it yet, is what I would call mirror writing. Mirror writing is where you have something written down like so, and then you come along and mirror it. It's not as easy as it sounds. like so. That's one method. Another method is called Vases and Faces. These exercises are specifically designed to help you shift from your dominant left hemisphere mode to your subdominant right mode. I could go on describing the process over and over in words, but only you can experience for yourself this cognitive shift, this slight change in subjective state. As Fats Waller once said, if you gotta ask what jazz is, you ain't gonna ever know. So it is with right mode state. You must experience the left to right mode shift. Observe the right mode state, and in this way, come to know it. So, first of all, we'll go through the directions for the exercise, and then we'll do it. The first thing is to draw a profile of a person's head on the left side of the paper, facing toward the center. If you're left-handed, draw the profile on the right side, facing toward the center. Examples are shown of both right-handed and left-handed drawings. Make up your own version of the profile if you wish. It seems to help if this profile comes from your own memorized, stored symbols for a human profile. Next, draw horizontal lines at the top and bottom of your profile, forming the top and bottom of a vase. Now go back over your drawing of the first profile with your pencil, and as the pencil moves over the features, name them to yourself. Forehead, nose, upper lip, lower lip, chin, neck. Repeat this step at least once. This is a left mode task, naming symbolic shapes. Next, starting at the top, draw the profile in reverse. By doing this, you will complete the vase. The second profile should be a reversal of the first in order for the vase to be symmetrical. Watch for the faint signals from your brain that you're shifting modes of information processing. You may experience a sense of mental conflict at some point in the drawing of the second profile. Observe this and observe how you solve the problem. You will find that you are doing the second profile differently. This is right hemisphere mode drawing. And before we go on, do the drawing. Okay. Forehead, nose, upper lip, lower lip, chin, neck. Forehead, nose, upper lip, lower lip, chin, neck. One more time. Forehead, nose, upper lip, lower lip, chin, neck. And then draw the line across top and bottom. After you finish, now that you've completed the Vase-Faces drawing, think back about how you did it. The first profile was probably rather rapidly drawn and then, as you were instructed, redrawn while verbalizing the names of the parts as you went back over the features. This is a left hemisphere mode of processing, drawing symbolic shapes for memory and naming them. In drawing the second profile, that is, the profile that completes the vase, you may have experienced some confusion or conflict. To continue drawing, you had to find a different way, some different process. You probably lost the sense of drawing a profile and found yourself scanning back and forth in the space between the profiles, estimating angles, curves, inward curving and outward curving shapes, and lengths of line in relation to the opposite shapes, which now become unnamed and unnameable. Putting it another way, you made constant adjustments in the line you were drawing by checking where you were and where you were going by scanning the space between the first profile and your copy in reverse. So, that's a good place to start. We're learning how to see. So, follow those instructions. I will outline them in the description below, and do some vase face drawings, as many as you like. I'll be back soon with the next part. I want to remind you to click that like button if you liked it, and do something today that your future self will thank you for. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.